Good Wednesday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversation Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this hump day. We have a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. And in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you'll be part of my conversation with Emma McGowan, privacy and security advocate at Avast, discussing how you can keep your kids safe online during the school year. Enjoy today's program. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Wednesday headlines. In national news, the Associated Press says, FBI's search of Trump's Florida estate, why now? The FBI's unprecedented search of former President Donald Trump's Florida residence ricocheted around government, politics, and a polarized country Tuesday, along with questions as to why the Justice Department, notably cautious under Attorney General Merrick Garland, decided to take such a dramatic step. Answers weren't quickly forthcoming, says the Associated Press. What we do know is this. Agents on Monday searched Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate, which is also a private club, as part of a federal investigation into whether the former president took classified records from the White House to his Florida residence, people familiar with the matter said. It marked a dramatic escalation of law enforcement scrutiny of Trump, who faces an array of inquiries tied to his conduct in the waning days of his administration. From echoes of Watergate to the more immediate House probe of the January 6th Capitol insurrection, Washington, a city used to sleepy August, reeled from one speculation to headline to the next. Was the Justice Department politicized? What prompted it to seek authorization to search the estate for classified documents now, months after it was revealed that Trump had taken boxes of materials with him when he left the White House after losing the 2020 election? Garland has not tipped his hand, despite an outcry from some Democrats impatient over whether the department was even pursuing evidence that has surfaced in the January 6th probe and other investigations. All Garland has said publicly is that no one is above the law. A federal judge had to sign off on the warrant after establishing that FBI agents had shown probable cause before they could descend on Trump's shuttered for the season home. Monday's search intensified the months-long probe into how classified documents ended up in boxes of White House records located at Mar-a-Lago earlier this year. A separate grand jury is investigating efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election, and it all adds to potential legal peril for Trump as he lays the groundwork for a potential repeat run for the White House. Trump and his allies quickly sought to cast the search as a weaponization of the criminal justice system and a Democratic-driven effort to keep him from winning another term in 2024, though the Biden White House said it had no prior knowledge, and current FBI Director Christopher Wray was actually appointed by Trump 5 years ago. In more national news, Albuquerque police detained suspect in killing of 4 Muslim men. Police announced Tuesday that they had detained a primary suspect in the killings of 4 Muslim men in Albuquerque, New Mexico, whose death sparked fear in Muslim communities nationwide. The police chief made the announcement on Twitter, saying that authorities had tracked down a vehicle believed to be involved in one of the slayings in New Mexico's largest city. The driver was detained, and he is our primary suspect for the murders, the tweet said. No other information was immediately available at the time of this report. Police plan to provide an additional update later. The slayings drew the attention of President Joe Biden, who said such attacks have no place in America. They also sent a shudder through Muslim communities where some people questioned their safety and limited their movements. In more national news, grand jury declines to indict woman in Emmett Till killing. A Mississippi grand jury has declined to indict the white woman whose accusations set off the lynching of black teenager Emmett Till nearly 70 years ago, most likely closing the case that shocked a nation and galvanized the modern civil rights movement. After hearing more than 7 hours of testimony from investigators and witnesses, a Lafleur County grand jury last week determined there was not sufficient evidence to indict Carolyn Bryant Dunham on charges of kidnapping and manslaughter, the Lafleur County District Attorney said in a news release on Tuesday. In sports, Serena Williams says countdown has begun to retirement. Saying the countdown has begun, 23-time Grand Slam champion Serena Williams announced Tuesday she's ready to step away from tennis so she can turn her focus to having another child and her other business interests. In entertainment news, Olivia Newton-John, who played Sandy in Grease, dies at 73. Olivia Newton-John, the Grammy-winning superstar who reigned on pop, country, adult contemporary, and dance charts with such hits as Physical and You're the One That I Want, and won countless hearts as everyone's favorite Sandy in the blockbuster film version of Grease, has died. Newton-John, a longtime resident of Australia whose sales topped 100 million records, died Monday at her Southern California ranch, her husband wrote on Instagram and Facebook. And finally, in business news, Wall Street slips as weak earnings hit tech and travel stocks. Stocks on Wall Street extended their recent run of losses Tuesday as investors reviewed disappointing earnings reports and looked ahead to the release of an inflation snapshot closely watched by the Fed Reserve. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Wednesday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Words I Choose to Live By. Along life's journey, you will be faced with difficulties that will threaten to derail all that you have worked for in becoming the best you. Instead of running from the challenges and being haunted by them, stare them down and say this: I will not be defined by you. My life is more than what you try to make it. You will not get the best of me. You will not win. Have an amazing Wednesday. We are part of my conversation coming up with Emma McGowan, privacy and security advocate at Avast, in today's Entertainment Spotlight. Stay with us. You're listening to Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with Entertainment Spotlight. Emma McGowan, privacy and security advocate at Avast, join me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about how you can be able to keep your kids safe online and have important conversations about privacy. Here's a bit of our conversation. Emma, so glad to have you back with us. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
So this is an important conversation because it really doesn't matter these days. My 4-year-old cousin already knows how to unlock the cell phone. So I think, it's one of those things that the kids are learning earlier and earlier. What do we need to know, though, when it comes to kids online today, Emma? What are some of the things we need to keep in mind?
So when it comes to kids online today, your 4-year-old cousin is not the only 4-year-old, I'm sure, who can unlock a cell phone. That's because, well, A, they were built to be very intuitive. That was on purpose from the people who made them. But the other reason is because the internet is a part of all of our lives today, right? So including kids. And kids see grown-ups and older kids going online with all kinds of devices, and they want to be a part of that world too. So whether they're playing games, attending school, FaceTiming grandma, kids are almost as online as we are. But, just like with the in-person world, your kids need guidance on how to navigate and behave in the digital world, and that's where you come in. Or not you, Cyrus, but a parent comes in.
Right.
And we know that, sometimes, it seems like maybe they know more about what's going on online than you do. Like they're doing some weird dance from TikTok and you're confused what is happening. But you know more about being a person in the world, and the digital world is just another part of that world. So while your kid might be an expert on TikTok, you're the expert on your kid.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning into this edition of Conversations Daily News. We'll be back with you guys on tomorrow with more news, message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and of course your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today, and let's go make it a great one.